Welcome to Kilgallon's Pub, the podcast where I, comedian Joe Kilgallon, like to sit back, have some drinks with people, and recreate that bar conversation we all know and love. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Kilgallon's Pub, Instagram at Kilgallon's Pub. Subscribe to the Patreon. Just look up, actually, I think the Patreon's my name, Joe Kilgallon. I've put up a lot of stuff on there, like podcasts that we've had to remove, and some, like, you know, for legal reasons on a couple. And I'm like, no, I'm going to still try to make some money off of it. And some other things like that. And I know I've been promising more and more content for the Patreon, but it is on its way. Apologies to the listeners, everyone. I was sick last week. And so, like, the last week and a half, and you could kind of hear it a little still in my voice. Like, I feel 100%, but, like, the voice isn't back yet. And that's why there hasn't been a podcast. So apologies all around there. But we're back. We got a fun one for you. Drinking some Maker's Mark with my man who's been on the podcast, I think probably a record 5 or 6 times now.
I think it's 6.
Yeah, that's the voice of Jonah Jurkens, comedian, producer, great human being. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for saying that.
You are a very good human being.
Thank you. I believe you are as well.
I
believe you are. I don't think.
No, yeah. I mean,
I believe you could be better.
I could be better.
I believe in the potential you have.
I think I'm a great person.
No, you're a fucking great guy.
I will say great.
You are.
I mean, I think I'm a pretty good guy. I obviously have a notoriously bad temper, but we all have our shit, I feel like.
You've been working on that.
I have been. Yeah. I mean, you get older, you get a little more patient.
Yeah, you just have like stressful months that you just kind of take it out on everybody.
Well,
I've been there.
Yeah, I do. I have a stressful month. You're right.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the 11 months are totally cool. I'm like that when I drink, too. I tell people I'm like a 95% happy drunk, and then 5% of the time I'm going to headbutt someone, you know?
Have you been like that?
I think
have you been like that in your
30s?
Once.
No. In my 30s, the only scrapes, they're not really fights, I call them scrapes, I've talked about on the podcast, and you were at one, you were too drunk to know what was going on.
Yeah, still to
bodies
say I have no
fell
memory.
at your feet. I remember you looking at me like, people on the ground.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, you were shit canned.
Have we talked about that story on this podcast?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to try to, like,
because I was buffering out everybody to the right of me,
and
they didn't know the fight happened. And then, like, Blake Burkhart, I think, who's been on your podcast.
He's been on the podcast. Yeah, Jonathan Fernandez. None of them knew about it.
He, like, looked right at me, and I'm, like, gone. It was after a holiday party for Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, Jonah, was there a fight that happened? And then I looked at him, and then I was like, and then I nodded my head, and then I looked forward, and I said, 2 shots of Malort, please. I thought he was just asking me for more shots.
You did that.
No
Remember,
idea.
I sobered up because I raced. We were going from Laugh Factory to Big City Tap.
Yeah, we walked,
AKA
right?
Big Shitty. A lot of people walked, but I decided to run because our friend Danny Callis' girlfriend talked about being fast. And then I was like, okay. And then she said, you want to race?
That.
And then I, of course, smoked her because I'm a man.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I was out of breath, though. I'm like, you were in way better shape. I thought about running around the block, even though the bar was a straight line from where we were, just to be a showboat, you know?
Yeah, we're doing it backwards.
Yeah, well, you know, high stepping's always fun, too. Do a little Deion Sanders, you know that move that you used to on a kick return, like early 90s, where they get the fucking legs fully extended and shit. That's fun. And, so I sobered up from that. I was so out of breath that I was breathing heavy for the first 20 minutes of the bar. And I think that was okay. But I remember popping by you, and you were like, shot, new shot, new shot. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're not making sense, which is good. You should be that way. It's a holiday party, right?
Yeah.
So that fight I was justified. And then the other one was Megan Gailey's bachelorette party.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was justified there. And I can't think of any other ones in my 30s. No, what am I talking about? Since I've been married. No, I lost my wedding ring in a fist fight. My first wedding ring.
Really?
Yeah, that was like during that first polar vortex in 2014. Since I've had kids, I've only been into 2 scrapes. Because now that you have kids, I don't fuck around with, it changes you. Obviously, everybody listening, having kids changes you in like the best ways. So you think more, life is fragile because you realize how amazing life is.
Right.
You know, so I don't want to get, I'm not gonna get fucked up by. Not that I would, because you guys know me.
Yeah.
I know what the fuck I'm
doing. Oh, no.
I
feel like I'd never want to be in a fight with. I've never been in a fight.
Ever?
I'm not like an aggressive guy normally. Like, I'll stand up for myself.
I've seen you yell once or twice, but rarely. It takes a lot
that's when
to
I
get
always
you to
have
yell.
some pretty bad couple experiences at CYSK. Yeah. I was just stressed, but like, I'll never like, I've always also had, I don't know if I've talked about this on your podcast, but I've always had huge friends. Like, all my friends are like, I mean, they played football through college, and then like one of my friends he was asked to be on the Packer practice squad.
Oh, they still get like $75,000 to be on the practice squad.
Yeah, they still get league minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think some pretty.
But he was
good.
just like, oh, I want to do it. I'm like, all right, dude, He's like, I'm just gonna go take his internship. I'm like, you're an idiot, by the way.
Was it an unpaid internship?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Dipshit.
Yeah, I know. He's just like he's just a fun guy. So like,
So why do you gravitate towards huge guys? Let's analyze that. Huh?
Well, for some reason,
is your father a huge man? And you
no,
kinda
he's
feel
like he was the shortest guy in my family. Yeah, everyone in my family's over 6 feet, which sucks because I never got that height.
What are you like 5'9", 5'10"?
Yeah, I'm like 5'9.5", 5'10".
Cool.
And my dad was a little shorter than I was, but everybody else in my family, both sides, are over 6 feet. And they're kind of like manly guys. You know, they all work like blue collar jobs. That's kind of like how
What's your mother's maiden name?
Grosskopf.
What?
Grosskopf.
Grosskopf?
Yeah, it's German for...
That's what I've had the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's German for big head.
Is it really?
And my grandmother's name is Betty Grosskopf. Her name is Betty Bighead.
Damn, man.
Which is like the funniest. My poor mom.
Weird.
She grew up with Grosskopf. Not fun. Then she marries Jurkens. Not fun. Then she gets divorced, and then she remarries to Cecinus, which rhymes with Penis.
Penis.
Yeah. So then when she got divorced, she went back to Jurkens. I'm like, no matter what you do, it's going to be a bad decision.
Well, she probably wanted to have the same last name as her son.
She did, which was kind of nice.
And you were her only boy?
Only boy, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
only child, I mean?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
You can tell. In some ways. If you to know me is to understand I'm an only child.
Yeah. I was gonna ask more about the not getting into a fight thing, but I could feel like you have a very only child hobby that we're going to share with the listeners. And I'm excited about that. We can wait on the hobby. Obviously, I was messing with you about gravitating towards big dudes. It was a joke.
Well, the gay thing. Okay, cool. That makes sense.
I'm joking. Well, you do have a great joke about how people think you're gay.
Yeah.
And I never thought that, but when you bring it up, it is funny.
You can see
you're
it.
like, oh,
you can see it's a man raised by nothing but women. Like it's there a little bit. And,
well, I've always seen you around. Your girlfriend right now is beautiful. And your girlfriends in the past have been beautiful, and you're a good-looking man. And you're like, the thing about you is you're into dude stuff.
Yeah.
But not, when you take a step back, you realize, oh, okay, so he has barbecues.
Yeah.
But he goes to an extent
yeah.
to be like, oh, by the way, guys, I got like fucking, I got this new seasoning.
Yeah, it's really
good. I did a dry rub for about 3 hours today.
Yeah.
And oh, man, by the way, I got to clean my kitchen. It is a mess.
Yeah.
You're like,
if you look at my bathroom, it is like scents galore. Like I am so like Soren Chonsky, who's a comedian out of New York, is a good friend of us. Like he always stays with me, and he's like, I always stay with you because you have like the best scents in your bathroom. And I'm like, you fucking ain't
you
right.
do. You have a clean apartment.
It's somewhat
and you have 2 cats.
clean.
1 cat now. Sorry.
No, he's dead too. I put him down 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this.
No, I didn't.
Sorry,
well,
your Sam's
it's just
cats?
weird being like, how are you doing? Good. I put down my cat. Like it's like a weird.
Well, I was heartbroken when Andy's went down.
Yeah. Everest. That was a really fucking hard
Everest
one for me.
You just had put Everest down, huh?
Yeah, Everest.
They both went to about 20.
Yeah, 16.
16?
Pretty good.
That's
yeah,
great,
pretty good.
man.
Yeah.
My cousin Doug and his wife, they right after they got married, they went on their honeymoon, and they lived like a couple blocks from me, and they had a cat named Cujo.
Oh, really?
Funny
That's
name.
a great name.
The cat
yeah.
was like 20.
Really?
And so I had to go over there to feed it while they were gone. And I remember being like, this thing's going to die.
Yeah.
While I'm watching it. I'm going to get the blame. But I'm just really like, no, the fucking thing's 20. You know?
Yeah.
It was a cute cat, but you could tell it just wasn't quite like there anymore.
Yeah.
It would rub its head up against your knee, which was nice.
Yeah. Those cats are good. I mean, they're the best cats I've ever had in my. And also the girl thing where I'm like, I love my cats. Like they're great. Like that's part of the bit. But like.
No, it's funny. That's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's a problem with comedians. Sometimes they lie on stage, and you later as a comedian, you're like, oh, it's part of the bit. I got to remember that.
Yeah, I'm doing like the cat stuff more now, and I've been working on it more just because it's kind of like in.
It's not like you're lying on stage, by the way. I don't want to make it seem like. Because
no,
your comedy's rooted in
them.
truth.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be weird if you do a joke about having cats and then later be like, oh, by the way, audience, they're dead now.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we were just laughing at that joke.
Yeah.
You didn't need to give us that much behind the curtain.
There was like a funny story behind, when I put down my other cat, and then I just like realized that like, oh, like you can talk about your dead parents all you want, but like you can't talk about like putting down an animal because like even the worst people, like even Hitler had a dog he loved. Do you know what I mean? Like the worst person on Earth.
I don't know.
I'm assuming he did.
That's a big one. This is why we have a producer, James. Look up if Hitler had a dog.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get on this watch
But that's
list.
the thing is like the worst people you've ever seen in your whole entire life, they are like, they still like love their animals.
Hitler had a dog named Blondie.
Yeah.
This is German Shepherd.
That makes more sense than anything.
Blondi.
And German Shepherd, of course.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Wasn't that an Always Sunny episode? It's like a painting of Hitler's dog or something?
Probably.
Like, yeah.
That's a great show. I haven't seen it in like 10 years,
So
though.
It dipped, and it's so much better now.
I heard it
back to
dipped and
being
then it
as
came back
good.
to being
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
It got really gross. The first 4 seasons were amazing.
So good.
5 seasons I loved. And then right around season 6 and 7, I don't want to see Danny DeVito's bare ass.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
got like, all right, like I get it. It's sick humor. Someone's throwing up. There's shit. There's this. You know.
Yeah.
And then it's like get back to a little bit more of the weird, because we were talking about it recently. This is where we do our random stuff on this podcast where it's like, no, stick to topic. No, I got to talk about this.
I know I have like 5 topics I want to talk about in my head right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll hold the thought. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Mick Betancourt, and my son Dylan, a little 9-month-old, was like, they just will make noises. So he's just like, making sounds, and he's got like this little Tigger toy that he has.
What was that word again?
Yeah, exactly. That was the joke he made.
Yeah.
I said like, oh, he's over there, throwing around his Tigger.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Jesus Christ, man, you might want to teach him not to say that word.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, Tigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it made me. I think he was just messing with me, but
Yeah.
it made me laugh really hard. And then I thought about like that episode of It's Always Sunny when he actually does say the N-word. It's like the first episode of that show. That's what made it such a great show. It grabbed you
Yeah.
right away. Remember the black guy that they had met? He was a promoter.
Yeah,
And he was like,
when he ended up being a promoter for
gay
bars.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
he does say, "I'll have N-words hanging from the rafters."
Oh yeah, and they're like, "Did you can't say
And
that?"
then
Yeah.
they didn't tell him that, but Charlie
Yeah.
quoted it because they were like, "Should we use him?" I mean, he seems to do good
Yeah,
work.
that's right.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I mean, he'll have N-words hanging
Yeah.
from rafters," quoting him. And
Yeah.
then the waitress that he's into, who he's married to in real life, that actress, she overhears and she's like,
Oh, really?
wow.
I didn't know they were
And
actually
she calls him
married.
Hitler. Yeah, they're married in real life.
Oh, okay, that makes
And
sense.
Charlie's married to not Charlie, not Dennis. Mac.
Matt's married to the sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Whatever
married to
it-
her.
I always
Caitlin
forget her
Olsen
name.
is her
Who's
name, I
great.
believe. She's great.
That
yeah.
first season's great. Like before they added Danny DeVito, that it was like great, and it was.
I
like,
thought he was a good ad too for
I
a
thought so
while,
too, yeah,
and
but
then
then
it got a little
too much.
It got a little too much, but then it's good again. But people forget South Park was amazing when it started,
Yeah.
and then that show dipped,
It did.
and then it came back strong.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, when they lost Kenny, I thought those years were kind of
Oh
bad.
yeah, yeah.
Kenny's
yeah.
back on it now, though, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I hear it's better than ever now, too.
Does he still
Yeah.
die in every episode, Kenny?
Not sure.
Yeah, because that was such a great gag, especially because I think when the show started, it was like, oh, this is something that 13-year-olds could dig.
Oh yeah.
And I think they still do. But I remember everyone had South Park shirts.
Well, kind of grew up with us because now it's like social satire, right? So then like it's smart, like the comedy's smart now, and we all kind of know. So it's like it grew with the audience.
It did.
Which is kind of nice.
How old were they when they started, I wonder? Trey Stone and
They're
Matt
younger
Parker.
than us, probably.
Not
Well,
when
they
it
made
started.
their-
I was 13. They weren't 10
No,
when
no,
it
no. I mean
started.
us right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably like late 20s when
I
it
think so
started,
too.
maybe.
Yeah, because they made that Spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
And that got spread around by everybody. It was like when people were passing VHSs to everybody, which is like a really cool. Like YouTube now is amazing, right? And it's,
Yeah.
obviously it's helping all of us out, and it's really great. But like that old like buzz of being like, did you get that tape? Oh my God, this person got the tape. Make me a copy. Like that's like how cool. To me, that I love. We can talk. That it's a good thing to the next thing. But physical media to me is like really cool, and like you're into something before anybody else is like really kind of fun.
That is
you know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for context, they made Spirit of Christmas in '92.
Wow.
In college, so they were probably 19 or 20 when
Yeah.
they made the South Park.
Crazy.
Yeah. I was like
Splash.
7 in 92.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the same thing even with It's Always Sunny in Philly. They made like a 15-minute pilot for like $400.
I heard it was even less.
Yeah.
I
And they
think
just kind of knew the right
They just
guy.
had a friend hold a camcorder. Well,
Yeah.
there was no like real cuts or
And
angles.
it's like
or
in
anything.
LA and they're actors.
Yeah.
They're struggling actors.
It was
Yeah.
at a friend's pool.
Yeah.
Pool
yeah.
party or
yeah.
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Which I've
And
been
then
to
just-
parties like that. There's
Yeah.
always one person stealing food that they're gonna have later.
Mhm.
I think that's what Charlie was doing, or there was like stuffing beers in his pocket for them to leave that party.
Yeah. You just kind of like randomly run into like the right guy to give it to.
Those parties in LA were kind of fun, except for what I hate about LA. Just we're talking about TV shows. I couldn't openly shit talk random TV shows because people. One time I was
somebody knew somebody.
one time I was
Yeah.
talking shit about some show. I think it was like Two Broke Girls, and someone's like out with me. I'm like, what? They're like, dude, it's one of the writers is right over there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well, good.
cool,
Tell them to fucking come over here. I got some ideas.
Yeah.
That's
That's what every performer needs is an idea for. We all love that.
I know. But
Yeah.
as a writer, a little different. I'll be like, here, drop these sex characters, and now you have
Yeah.
yourself a show.
Yeah, you're
well,
like,
that's one
okay.
character then. Yeah, I like her. She's hot. The rest of the show.
Story B on episode 4 is not.
That's a Whitney Cummings show, who I love a lot.
Two
I
Broke
don't
Girls
love,
is?
but I like her a lot. Yeah, she co-created that, and it came. So she wrote her own show, Whitney.
Yeah.
And then she co-created with Michael Patrick King, who I think was like a Sex and the City guy.
Okay.
I think that was a show, Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
So she had 2 pilots that both got bought, and then they both got made, and then made and picked up,
Yeah.
which is insane. Pilots getting bought, it's all
All the
super
time.
hard. It's all
Yeah.
super hard. But they buy them all the time without ever making them.
Right.
Then you make the pilot, and then whether or not it gets picked up is also
Yeah.
fucking. It's
It's
all of it's a
crazy.
lottery in a
Yeah.
weird way. Because we know tons of great people who end up not getting, and we're like, well, why didn't they? And then there's great comics. Like Mulaney is a great stand-up comic. His show couldn't have sucked more.
Yeah.
Some
I
stuff
wanted it to be so good because we knew some of the people that were on it.
Yeah, I like Mulaney as a stand-up, but I always forget about him.
Yeah.
Like when people go, who are your favorites like right now? I start to name them and they go, what about Mulaney? I go, oh, yeah, I like him a lot too. And that's not like a disrespect to him. I think he's got good stories and everything like that, but there's never, I don't know, at least to me, like Chappelle and Burr, those guys like that. I mean, obviously they're like legends at this point now.
Yeah.
But they always seem to have that one joke where you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And as a comic watching, I'm like, I'm never going to get to that.
Yeah. I feel like
holy shit.
I think if you really listen to Mulaney, there's a lot like that there. I saw him when he was vamping for his last special.
He's just coated in some niceness.
Yeah, he's not.
Maybe,
he's not that.
He's
pretty dark though. Like he can be.
Yeah, maybe I got to.
He's gotten definitely more broad as he's gotten as he's progressed. But like the one thing I noticed with him too is like I was watching, because we were kind of talking about pre-podcast about like just like kind of watching things and you're kind of analyzing the whole time. Like so when I see live comedy like in the big venues when it's like bigger comics, I never really laugh. I just kind of like just watch, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he did there. Okay, how's he gonna do that? Like, or they or whatever. And like Mulaney was the one where I'm like laughing my ass off the whole time. And also I was like, how is he getting? He's gonna burn this audience out. There's no way he can sustain this for over an hour, and he did. And I was like, I don't know how he did that.
I have had people who've seen him live say that it was the best show they'd ever seen.
Yeah, it was one of the best shows. And my girlfriend and I broke up that day, so it was like. And I still
have
good memories of it.
You break up in the morning?
Yeah, it was on my birthday.
She dumped you on your birthday?
Yeah, she gave me a card that said there's more to come on it because she originally she was like I was meaning to give you another gift. And then it just kind of didn't happen. So I was like, you could have just erased that. And I'm like, it's pretty funty. I mean, what a fun.
So she gave you that saying there's more to come. And then the more to come was her dumping you?
Yeah, it was so funny.
Oh, my God. Although, it would be pretty sexy,
to give props to somebody where you're like, that was a pretty good move. I'm not going to lie. That was amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Like sometimes when you're like in an argument with somebody and they say something really shitty to you. And then you have to kind of be like, okay, so we're still in an argument. But like, by the way, that comment. That dug at me at the core, and it was perfect. And that was, I don't know what it is, but don't forget that comment because it was perfect. Okay, back into it. Fuck you. Why the fuck would you?
We were talking about me losing my shit earlier. Our good friend of ours, Danny Callis, one time, because I was yelling at him about something. He's like, dude, you're not fucking 25 anymore. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, by the way, wasn't that cute back then either? And I'm like, it's a little cute. Was it a little cute? Yeah. Come on. It's kind of funny. Someone snapping, throwing shit. It's not fun for anyone.
Dude, that's the worst when you're just like, oh, that was pretty good. Yeah. You can't even like argue against it.
Tip the hat and move on.
Yeah. Which I loved. Like, so go back to my big friends. When I moved. Okay, so I kind of grew up in rural Wisconsin in Oconomowoc, which is like there's a lot of lakes down there. And this also is a comment on how racist Oconomowoc is, how slightly racist Wisconsin is. It doesn't mean to be. So all the names, most of the city names are Native American. And the thing is you get raised in an elementary school and they tell you like a fairy tale based story of how the name came about, and it's always slightly racist. Like I was told that in Oconomowoc, because there's like 12 lakes there, that how that became name is that there was a Native American boy walking with his mother, and they walked around all the lakes, and the boy looked at the mother and was like, "Mom, I can no walk."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's what I was taught in school. Was like that was like a cute little, And then Oconomowoc for up until a few years ago, their mascot was the Coonies. So we'd always be like, "Are you gonna see the coons tonight?" Like that was like not realizing that you're saying a very terrible thing. And their mascot was a
Please, it's a raccoon, right?
It was a raccoon, but with a robber's mask on.
Why do they do that to raccoons? They always make them to be bandits.
Yeah, they're bandits. Yeah.
My wife's high school in Chicago, they were the bandits.
And it was a raccoon.
And it was a raccoon.
Yeah, the robber's mask on.
I don't think they have the robber's mask on. But still, it's a bandit. A bandit's a robber, and it's a raccoon. Though.
Yeah, and they finally changed it, and they just changed it to the raccoons. And everybody hates the name. It's like the Oconomowoc raccoon.
What is with that shit, man? Fucking sports fans get so obsessed with names and everything like that.
Yeah, and it's like it's okay to change your shit to look at.
I look at it like from a capitalist point of view. If you're a Redskins fan, look, Redskins is an offensive name.
It is
very. And I know there might be some people listening who's like, "Oh, fuck that shit! It's too goddamn sensitive." I'm like, look, you can't get around it. The owner, the original person had a history of racism and towards Native Americans in particular, and it's Redskins, and a lot of them don't like it. And I know there's other team names that like Blackhawks seems to a lot of Native American groups seem to be cool with them because it's like it's more honoring, I guess.
Yeah.
But even some people don't like it. The Cleveland Indians logo, a big red-faced smiling Indian who looks drunk off his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them having a problem with that.
His name's Chief Wahoo. Like,
yeah,
like
Chief
Wahoo.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
Wahoo,
not a
yeah.
name. That's what
That's
fucking
just-
Wario says in Mario Brothers. you
Yeah.
know?
Because and that's the thing. So I moved from Oconomowoc. I moved to Wauwatosa, which is a suburb of Milwaukee.
I'm sorry, real quick. The Capitals' point of view that was naming
I'm
is
sorry, yeah.
if the Redskins change their name to like the the Rangers or Red Rangers or the Warriors, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, all that old Redskins merchandise becomes worth money now.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. If you got a lot of Redskins stuff, where you're like,
keep
well,
that.
I'm going to lose this jacket. Now you can still wear the jacket, but it's going to be worth a couple bucks maybe.
Yeah. And everyone's going to be like, I don't know, for some reason, I'm selling a lot in Mississippi. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man.
They're kind of going for any price on that. That's insane.
Right next to the Confederate flag down
Yeah,
there.
it's pretty great.
I saw a dude driving in Chicago down fucking Milwaukee with a Confederate flag. hanging
Are you
out of his
serious?
car.
That
Yeah,
seems
dead
so out of
serious.
place.
It's a truck.
Yeah.
Why do those dudes always have trucks?
I know.
Why does it feel like that's their car? I've never seen a Prius with a fucking
Because
Confederate
you
flag.
can't go like mudding with a Prius.
Yeah, I guess. It was an Illinois play, too, so he clearly lived here. It just felt like one of those dudes. There are dudes like that, and as much as liberals annoy the shit out of me, I don't think they invite the fight.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the like people like that want the fight. So they're like, I'm going to have this because fuck people who are against it, or fuck people who think I shouldn't, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they almost kind of like... You know what I mean? That's why they have the pickup truck. That's why they have that shit. Because in case shit, they want to put out that whole front that, like, I'm the wrong motherfucker to mess with.
Yeah, yeah.
In case you want to pull up next to me and be like, hey, dickhead, you guys lost that war about 75 years ago. It's an enemy flag. It's a fucking enemy flag.
Yeah.
And I've talked about how I love the South. Southern people I've met have been really good. And I think it's, it's fun to do the whole, like, I'm a hillbilly. It's fun to give them some shit, but...
every
it's totally
color's
overrated
bad
and they're
people.
cool. Well,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's still the ones who cling to that shit. It's just like, dude, it's fucking a war for slavery. You're
Yeah.
really gonna, and then they tried, it was states' rights. Okay,
Yeah.
sure it was.
States' rights about what?
Yeah, I know. People forget though, dude. At the height of slavery, still less than 2% of Americans owned slaves. I think it was like 1.7%.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
And
you
yet
think that's
a
an
war-
okay number?
No,
That's
I think
what
it's
you're-
not-
that's what you're
no,
saying.
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That is not
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. I'm saying a war was fought, meaning poor people fought for rich people's rights to own shit they were never going to be able to own.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing now.
Yeah, that was my point about that, really. Everyone's like, you can't do that because, it's, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's 600,000 people died. That was fucked up. Anyway, let's go back to silly shit.
Silly shit.
Yeah, man, I cut you off about Oconomowoc, or what's it called?
Oh, so I moved to
Tomahawk?
Yeah. Well, there's probably tomahawks involved, and that dude. I was in a Wisconsin bar last night in Chicago at Will's Northwoods, and I that story got brought up where I was like the Oconomowoc thing, and then of course right to the right of me, which and this is a famously Wisconsin bar, there's like a thing for like every Saturday we do a powwow or something like this in Wisconsin. I'm like, oh god, this is not doing good for me at all. But then I moved to Wauwatosa, and Wauwatosa ended up being, and the story behind that is it's always a little Indian boy. A little Indian boy stubbed his toe and looked at his mom and goes, "Oh, mom, Wauwatosa," like his toe. And that's how Wauwatosa got born. These are things you learn when you're in elementary school.
I think kangaroo is some bullshit like that too, where the English settlers in Australia asked like the Aboriginals, "What do you call that animal?" And they said kangaroo. Which I later translated to I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
that's
what
funny.
they were saying.
Yeah, I love
and then
that.
later someone's like, that's not really true. But then someone's like, well, that one word for I don't know is similar to it. I don't fucking know. That's something I could look up later.
Well, school I went to
We're
was
giving
like,
James a lot of Google requests today, right?
yeah. Hey, Google that.
Yeah.
We just want to fuck up your whatever.
Yeah, you working on it?
But
If you're working
Tulsa
on it,
was
I'll stop bothering you.
Tulsa was a bus school, so it was predominantly or it was like 50-50 like black school.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So like for some reason I just like always have had a lot of like football player friends that are also like black. You know,
You're trying to say black people are bigger than other people?
no, but they're football players,
'Cause I
but
think
they're also
Danish
like
are the biggest.
huh?
I think Denmark has the tallest human beings.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they just
No, it
were
sounds like
football
you're,
players.
You're
who,
a black supremacist.
Well, there are black friends who also were
kidding.
football
I'm
players.
just
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
with you, dude.
No, I have a lot of tiny black friends here in
Oh my God,
here
man.
in Chicago comedy.
We have one friend who I'm not going to name, but we remember that it was like softball, not the game I threw a bat, and he struck out playing softball, which is really, really hard
That's
to
really
do.
hard to do. Oh,
And
I know
thought it was
exactly
like a
what
joke.
you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, you're a terrible athlete.
Oh, it was embarrassing.
Which was shocking because he's a terrible athlete. I think he admits it.
Yeah.
But because he's not because he's black it's shocking, but because he's a good dancer. I've seen him dance. Good dancer.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you think he has coordination.
you'd think. I think if you're a good dancer, you should be at least athletic enough to hit a softball that's moving 4 miles an hour, that's fat as fuck in air. You know what I mean?
You know the one thing
That's a big thing.
This is one thing I never really understood is like unathletic people, because like you have more of a sports background, right? I have kind of a sports background, and when and James, you work out all the time, and you know. And it's like weird when you're around creative types when that kind of like that aura changes to like, okay, these are people that just aren't into that, and then they are like, yeah, man, I was working out, and they flex, and you're like, you don't even know how to flex your arm. Like they're always like, I was like flexing like that. I'm like, how do you not even know how to flex your arm?
You know what killed me about women growing up is
like they do this thing that they're like that, and you're like, that's not how you flex.
No, I was gonna say I remember girls.
Like
I don't
I'm
know if
getting
they
really
still do
ripped.
this.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what
dude,
are you? Yeah.
But you ever see girls? They like guys. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
You curve your arm up to make it pop.
And you make it a little bigger. You go just a little bit more there. That
more
pops
like
up
that?
your bicep more.
But I remember one time. Whenever I
long
see
hair.
girls do it, they do it like this.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's
I'm
like,
sorry. It feels
bend
like
your
a 3-year-old.
fucking arm,
It feels like
man.
a 3-year-old. Yeah,
does.
that's they also do that. Like they're like, look how strong I'm getting. I'm like, you look like you're telling me like I'm so big.
Yeah.
You know, like
How big is Jennifer?
So big. Yeah, it's like insane. But dude, so my friends are so big, and then like if you look at us together, you don't like when you see us together, you can see they're friends. But sometimes if you just see him and me, you're like, because he's also like I don't know 6'5", like 350, like
That's
muscle.
That's a big
That's
fuck.
a big dude, and his name's Chinya Nikita Da. So that's like you don't fuck with that guy, right?
No.
And we were at a bar once. We used to
You
work.
won't be able to report that name to the police if you had to.
I don't know how to spell it. Like
that's why you want to fuck with
I
them, okay.
had a friend named Marcellus, Chinya, Saeed, Kingston, me, and Nick. And one time we all went out, and it was funny because when we would meet people, it was like, they're like, yeah, could we? What's your names? And then it was like, I'm Jonah. This is Ninye, Saeed, Kingston, Marcellus, and Nick. And they'd be like, Nick, it's nice to meet you. Like, I'm not gonna fuck up any of your names because it's just the weirdest names. So we go to this bar. I used to work this bar, like beer delivery thing during the college. We go to this bar. We're like exhausted. I'm wearing a hat like I'm wearing now. And we sit down. And also the thing is that like this is like at the height of my douchiness, and this is like also the height of like people just not liking me instantly, right? And this guy comes up and he goes, hey dude, you got an issue? And my friend's sitting right next to me, right? Just kind of like mind his own business. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's just like, you got a problem? It's the bouncer. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, man. He's like, you look like you're trying to get in a fight. What's going on? And I go, how so? And he's like, I can tell by your eyes. And I go, I'm wearing a hat. How can you even see my eyes when I walked in? Yeah. And he goes, I don't want your fucking lip, dude. I got a fucking problem with you, dude. You got a problem here? Are you going to start something? What's the fucking deal? And then my friend looks over and he goes, hey, excuse me. This is my best friend. Do you have a problem with him? And the guy looks at me and then looks at him and then looks at me and then looks at the bartender. And he goes, we know the girl's name's Ashley. She goes, Ashley? And my friend goes, are you fucking kicking us out? Is that your fucking problem? We're not starting shit. We just want to drink, dude. And he goes, oh, no. I'm buying you guys shots. I'm going to buy you shots. Just to let you know, I'm sorry. And then Ashley comes over and he's just like, what do you guys want? And we're like, Jameson, whatever. And then he's trying to be funny. And he looks at my friend Ninya and he goes, hey, man, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know this was your friend. It would have been hard having to get through you to get to your friend. And my friend looks at me and goes, you never would have gotten through me. And then he goes, make those doubles, please. And then the whole rest.
And then you guys fucked Ashley at the bar, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
And
Nice.
the whole rest of the night, he's like, hey man, so like, can you teach my brother how to play football? And he was like trying to get him money. So I'm so used to that. So when I moved down to Chicago, so I'm used to like being able to talk shit and not have to worry about it. So when I moved down to Chicago, that was a rude awakening when you find out that this is before you and I are friends, when all your friends are just comedians and these tiny scrawny people when they want you to protect them. And I'm like, I'm not a protector at all. I have protector friends, like. And that's got me into trouble a couple times. So I've been hit twice since I've been to Chicago.
Did you hit back?
Well, the first time I did do.
I remember you told me the first time. It was like on the first ever podcast of this show.
Yeah.
When the one dude hit you when you were going to that bar, right?
Well, I was like outside of a bar, and he's trying to say he's a
yeah.
comedian, and I challenged him on the fact that he's not a comedian. And so he hit me, and then I just asked him a lot of questions about it. I was just like, "Did you just hit me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, why would you hit somebody?
That's even more embarrassing.
Yeah,
You're the guy. If I were to
take a punch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I were to pop a guy, and the guy was like, "Did you hit me?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, why?" And I'd be like,
it hit him weird.
Did that not hurt you? Because I felt like I fucking
like really got you. He was so drunk, and he was like, Like literally, it was just like I don't know. Like you
I'd been like,
challenge.
dude, it feels like a mouse like tapped me in the cheek. It
No,
feels like what I would have been saying that back to
I
me.
was like, why, dude? But I was like, why would you hit somebody?
So
You know, like
okay,
a real question, like why would you hit somebody? And then he was just like, I don't know, man. Like you challenged the fact that I wasn't a comedian and I'm new to the city and I'm trying to make a name for myself. And I've just
punching
really,
Jonah Jurkens.
yeah. And then I was like, well, you try to make a name, you'll never work in this town again. And then I walked away from him.
And you had no power back
I
then.
had no power. Yeah, I don't have power now. But
You got power now, buddy. Come on, you got
yeah.
some.
Yeah, and then he
You
was
hear
just,
that,
so
Chicago comedians listening?
But he literally,
Fuck with JJ.
he literally was like, and then I just kind of walked away.
I didn't mean to call you JJ, by the way. You're not a JJ.
I'm a Triple J.
What's your middle name?
Jeff.
Jonah Jeff Jurkens.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I would think JJ is like a fat name.
No, I know. The only JJs I know are the JJ bartender and a good friend of mine, JJ Campisi, who I know since I was like 14. That dude's skinny as shit.
The fattest kid in my school is named JJ.
Sorry, JJ, you are skinny as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know any fat JJs. I don't know where you get that from.
It's weird how you kind of grow up and you kind of like, okay, JJ's. Like Jack, I always think is like kind of a weird kid in school.
Yeah, I know a Jack who was fucking kind of weird now that I think about it. Yeah, some names. There are some names where you're like, oh yeah, this fucking guy. Right?
Yeah. Like what, like.
I always thought Claire was a fat girl's name because of Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she's like, Claire, it's a
I feel like
family
there's a
name,
lot
so
of
it's
weird
fat girl's
Dons
name.
out there.
Don. See, dude, I was binging Mad Men the last like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Were you ever a Mad Men fan?
I want to get in. I watched like the first season.
I
liked it. I just
it
was real busy at the time.
You know, I think I started it like 4 times in the past and didn't get past like the first episode or 2. But this time I was like, I'm going to get into it. And I fucking loved it. And there's some episodes that really have your brain going. And then there's a couple episodes where I'm like, what the fuck? That was kind of, I don't know. Overall, it was good. But Don Draper is the main dude. And, you know, he's like classic 60s, like womanizer, smoking, constantly
Don Draper,
drinking.
Yeah, but like
so he's
it's like
cool.
Don Draper.
Donatello.
Like Don Draper. It's not like, yo, you date Don.
There is a type with the Don.
Yeah.
You don't see a Don as like a
Trevor.
Like a frailing.
Like,
Trevor's a fucking douche.
Yeah, he's always like a douche.
Trevor's a douchey one.
Douche.
I
feel like Polly's. If you meet a girl named Polly.
I've never met a girl named Polly. I just
That's
know the
part of
Nirvana
it.
song Polly.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fucking bird's name. Who's naming their daughter Polly?
I knew a couple of Pollys growing up.
Polly? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a Pocket Polly or Polly Pocket? Wasn't that a fucking toy?
It was a toy.
I don't know.
Good memory.
All right, I'm getting a little off track here.
Yeah.
I was going to say about your
my
cats.
story didn't go that
well.
well.
No, we had the cats. We got sidetracked by the cats because you were saying like, you know, even Hitler had a dog. And then they reminded me that whenever I see a homeless person with a pet, I get really sad. And then it also makes me appreciate dogs and stuff like mostly dogs.
You get
don't
real
see
sad
homeless
for the
people with
dog?
cats.
No, that'd be
Well,
crazy.
no, I mean, I get a little sad for the dog only if the dog's starving and the guy gets sad for the guy. Obviously, you're bummed out for the homeless person too, but
you would think the dog would be like, get your shit together, dude.
you think, but then, dude, that's why dogs are amazing. They love unconditionally.
Yeah.
They're just like, this is my guy. I love this guy.
Yeah.
And every now and then I've seen like, there's always a video here or there where like some dog shelter, people took a dog away from a homeless guy and the homeless guy's like crying, give me my dog. And it's like fucking breaks my goddamn heart, man.
Yeah.
That shit, dude.
Or the homeless guy that got, I don't know if it was a homeless guy, but there was a guy in like, I think it was in England that got hit by a car and passed away. And then the dog.
No, that was like in some Eastern Bloc country.
Okay.
But I remember that
But
one.
you know the story,
The dog, that fucking broke my heart.
Yeah.
So this guy, you'll probably eventually see it on Facebook or Twitter. It makes the rounds every few months or so. This guy got hit by a car, like crossing the street, and the dog for the next 2 years.
Was he a homeless guy? No.
No,
He
I
was just
think
a
he was
normal
just
guy?
a dude.
Yeah.
And the dog wouldn't leave that spot. And anytime the color car, like a silver car, hit the guy, anytime a silver car went by, like the dog would bark more aggressively and like go towards it. And people were worried about the dog all the time. And some people tried to take it in, and the dog just wouldn't budge.
Would always run back.
They would
right?
bring food and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And the dog just basically like slept at that intersection, like on the street. And eventually that dog got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And then they put like a bronze statue of the dog right there, and like,
Yeah.
they named it the corner. It was fucking heartbreaking though. But like, dude, think about
Have
that
you ever
kind
had like
of
a relationship
love,
that you're
dude.
like, God, why didn't you do that for me? Like, wouldn't you want a relationship doing that for you? Like, how great
Do you
that
think about death a lot? Do you?
all the time? Of course, my parents did.
Oh yeah.
And I just put down both my cats. I had my cat die in my arms. So yeah, of course. Yeah. So the life, I felt the life escape out of my cat. Yeah.
Do you really feel the life go away?
Well, dude, that first cat I put down in my arms. I know this is really fucked up, but like everybody's gonna experience
I'm
this.
sorry, I'm still laughing. That was one of the
had-
funniest responses. Do you think about death a lot? Yeah, both my parents died. My cat's died in my arms. Yeah,
Yeah, so
constantly I
it
think about
pops
that.
in there from time to time. No, dude,
Man.
when my cat, like the first cat, I was like really upset. Kind of knew this was gonna happen. You know, I got the phone call. I'm like, oh fuck, and I went there, and this guy was just like, all right, you know, he's like, everyone's really nice at the place I was at. And then he was just like, he said something to me. I don't know why I said this, but he said something to me, and I go, I don't know, man. I read your Yelp reviews. I don't know if I trust your opinion. And he looks at me, and he goes, excuse me? And I go, I'm sorry. I'm a comedian. Sometimes I'll make a joke at an awkward moment to kind of make myself feel better. And he goes, okay. And I go, but I've also read your. I've also read your Google reviews, and they're not any better. And then he goes, I know you're a performer. I looked you up, and I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. Before I have to deal with any of like the people I'm
like grief
the clients
yeah.
owners, I just kind of want to know what I'm walking into. And he's like, you have a podcast, and he's like, you're a performer and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, don't expect me to be funny the whole time. And he was like, yeah, I thought you'd be a little funnier. Like, you know, he's like, and I'm like holding my cat while she's dying, and you know, we're having this real fun back and forth, you know. And then he's just like, all right, like, okay, you have all the time you want in the world. Just, you know, I'm here all night, tap on my door when, you know, you're ready to do it. So, you know, says my goodbyes, whatever, does that. You know, the shit happens, you know, whatever. I won't get into the details of that. And then he's just like, okay, I'll walk you out. And I was like, I appreciate that. And I'm like teary-eyed, right? I've never had to put down an animal before, right? Every other time I've always moved away. And then I just kind of like get lost in the ether, you know?
Yeah.
So then I'm like upset, and the guy's walking me down. And he's just like, it seemed like he has a really special bond, and we were rooting for her. She's a really beautiful cat, you know, all the shit that he says to everybody else.
She was a good-looking cat.
She was a good-looking cat. And he just like, he goes, well, I'm really sorry, you know, for your loss, and you know, if you need anything, let me know. And then I shook his hand, and I was like, thank you very much. And then I looked up to him, and I go, you should listen to my podcast, it's really funny. And then he started laughing, and I go, that's how you set up a joke. And I walked away.
Nice.
Yeah,
Leave him wanting more too.
Yeah.
So when the second cat went to die, did you make some more
No,
jokes?
nothing funny.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I brought up the death thing. Like, you know, they had Kobe Bryant's memorial today.
Did you watch the clips from that?
I've seen the Jordan one. Was Jordan had a funny thing.
That meme thing was great.
You see this, James?
No.
Because James Webb has the Jordan meme Christmas sweater that they accidentally gave him two, and then he gave me the Jordan meme Christmas sweater, which was a big hit at one of the holiday parties. Jordan's like talked for like 10, 12 minutes about how him and Kobe had a friendship, and you know, he was doing some heartfelt stuff. He's crying the whole time, and then in the middle of it, he stops. Yeah, he's not a good crier. In the middle of it, he stops. He's like, man, he's got me up here crying. I'm going to be another damn meme. You know?
For a couple more years.
And
It's like 3 more years of this meme now.
Yeah, and everyone in the crowd was just
Yeah.
dying. They were cutting to every NBA star, and they're like fucking laughing their asses off. So
It's crazy how competitive those performers are. Not performers, athletes are. They have to be at that caliber
you have
and
to
level.
be a little psychotic.
That even their memorial speeches, even their whatever speeches,
eulogy.
Thank you very much. Even the eulogies are still them talking about how great they are.
Well, a lot of them
like
were.
Shaq's was like that,
yeah.
and then Magic's was like that. Kimmel's crushed me.
I didn't hear Kimmel's.
Oh, he's just crying the whole time like a little fucking. But it's like, you know, when you see like somebody who's like supposed to have it with it all the time, and they kind of crack.
Yeah.
Like even Fallon's speech after Kobe passed, about like how they got beer together once when they both were unknowns, which is really good.
That's a great story.
Yeah. But man,
I forget every now and then Jimmy Fallon will have a story or something I'll see where I'm like, oh, you were once cool and likable at once.
Yeah.
And then I think his show just, I don't know if he carried on that Leno tradition of I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
I'm Jimmy here, and I'm just like, you know, let's everything's amazing, and it's like fucking gummy drops and shit like that or whatever.
Like I understand, but like Colbert like kind of made it about his dead family, and I was just kind of like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that, but yeah, man, I don't know. I've been I have moments where I've been thinking about death a little bit, and you know,
why is that? What's bringing?
I don't know. I mean, well, Brody Stevens' 1 year anniversary, Dave Metz his anniversary was before that, and I was sad I wasn't able to go to Dave Fest, which you know is the second one they've done to honor Dave Metz.
I'm surprised nobody shit on that lineup,
really
by the
fucking sick. Surprised nobody shit on what?
That all straight white male lineup. That was insane that nobody shit on that.
You really think Dave Metz wanted it any different?
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just disagreeing that nobody's been
Well,
like,
just
what is this bullshit with all fucking say? All his friends going up there?
For non-fucking Chicago comedy listeners, which I hope most of you are, Dave Metz was a really, really funny comedian who had a great podcast called Palm Pilots. He died unexpectedly a little over a year ago. And shortly after he died, the comedians got together, all of his best friends in comedy, did a thing called Dave Fest, where they all went up and, you know. So Jonah's joke about how it was all white guys.
Yeah.
That's the thing
friends.
of comedy shows.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking no one. I mean, I would love if someone did point that out because I'd be like, this is so classic right now where you have to diversify your death tribute shows.
I know, it's insane. Yeah.
That'd be really fucking funny, actually. But we had a show for Brody Stevens at CYSK, and Brody was a buddy of mine and really a sweet person who everyone kind of knew had some demons and stuff like that. And Brody and I bonded over baseball and everything like that, and spring training starting up. And it was weird because I'm hosting the show and we were donating all the money to like a suicide prevention thing, so you had to I had to be funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to tell people about, hey, this was a great dude and here's why he was a great dude and all that. Excuse me. And but in between people's sets, like me and Blake Burkhardt and Ed Towns were watching the Wilder Fury fight, like the legally streaming that.
Yeah,
and just it was a good time.
I heard the shows went incredible. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there.
The shows were really good. The fight was good too.
The lineups are so and that's the thing about those lineups. They're so eclectic and great. It was all over the board.
It was all over the board, and it was a lot of silly fucking dudes.
Yeah.
And then because of that, it made it a silly night. I was talking to Joe Fernandez afterwards, who's been on this podcast a bunch. And he was talking about how what the comedians did that night is we made it clear to the audience that everyone in this lineup is like buddies and friends.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think audiences like that.
For sure they do.
And I know I like that when I find out oh, that band likes that band. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. They hang out. All right, nice.
As long as it's not a conversation between the performer and the other comics on the stage, I think audiences like it.
What do you mean?
Like when you're on stage, I this is one thing, a pet peeve I have is like when you're a comedian on stage and you're talking to other comics like through the audience, like, oh,
about what?
If I was just talking to you, I'm like, hey, Kilgallon, I guess they didn't like, like whatever.
Oh, well, that's fucking dumb.
And then people are like, who's Joe Kilgallon? Like, he hasn't been up yet.
Oh, yeah.
If you're the host, if you're the host, it'd be different.
I see what you're saying.
Like,
yes.
you can have those conversations with anybody that was on before you.
Yes.
But if you're having conversations with people that are on after you, they don't know who they are.
Oh, well, yeah, that's completely dumb. Yeah, for sure. That's why I didn't know what you were saying. Because in my head, how bad are you as a comedian to be talking to someone who no one in the audience fucking knows as if they should know them?
Yeah. But when it looks like you're having so much fun with each other, it's great. Like,
yeah. So Jeff Asmus, who's fucking really, really funny. That dude's hilarious. He went up and did like a fucking 2-minute bit about how ugly Irish women are. Which I don't know where he gets that from. I know a lot of gorgeous Irish women.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some that have had some hard years.
Well, your eyes are conditioned to think that that's attractive.
You don't think Irish women are attractive?
No, I think Irish women are I believe my girlfriend's very Irish.
Yeah, your girlfriend looks incredibly Irish too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just was like, I went up after him, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to let this fly. So I go, and he had another joke where he called someone ugly. And so I'm like, Jeff had a couple of different jokes about calling people ugly, which is funny for a guy who looks like the poster boy for impotence. I can't say the word. I don't think I said it right that night either, but people know what I meant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no offense, he looks like that, though.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy that's like, I can't get hard tonight.
Yeah.
And then, I love the dude. He's so funny, and the joke's killer. But then,
but people know that you're not coming from
no.
place.
People were laughing about that because they knew I was singing for Irish women.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I didn't mean for Irish men. I'm like, well, where the fuck do you think I came from, dipshit? We're like yelling off each other off the stage.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I started making fun of German women a little bit, and then I said something like,
wait, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Oh, no, yeah, relax. And then I said something like, well, I hope everyone enjoyed watching Jeff. It'll be the last time he's ever on this stage. And I'm like, well, the next time he's on this stage is when we're honoring him after he kills himself. And that joke actually fucking destroyed.
Those jokes surprisingly always do well when you're.
So I couldn't believe it. I thought like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Later, people asked me, they're like, did you guys plan that? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, it's just such a great riff. I go, no, I didn't plan. You think I wrote in my notes, do suicide joke at the suicide night, at the suicide prevention night? No. But no, I just started thinking about with death. Sometimes I think about if I were to die young. And before I had kids, every now and then I think like, oh, it might be kind of cool.
Really?
Not like, I don't know.
What's your thoughts on the
just because of
after
like the way
lights out?
people honor you.
Yeah.
Young funerals suck. They're depressing as shit.
But everybody shows up.
But people, it's packed.
Yeah, it's packed.
You sell out your last show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a fucked up thought. It is a fucked up thought. But now that I have kids, it's like, no, I don't want to miss anything, and I can't imagine their heartbreak.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely think about like the reaction you would get.
Yeah.
When you die when you're 90, you think, oh, what a great long life I lived.
Oh, your friends are dead.
And 4 people show up.
Yeah.
And then it's almost, because we forget, man, it's only a generation or two, then people forget you.
Yeah.
Unless you're like super, super famous. But even so, the 5th best actor in 1930, I couldn't fucking tell you who they were. And that was less than 100 years ago.
Petals Pricks.
Yeah, you just made up a name, right? So we even think famous people now, which is nice because we could slide into movies.
This is going to fuck with my brain for, I don't know, 20 years. This conversation right now.
Okay, look at this. The Professional. You got the DVD, The Professional. We're going to get into DVD. Jonah's came with a bag of DVDs, and he's got an insane collection. And he did. Like Gary Oldman, great actor.
Oh, he's still very relevant.
But
you know he's not dead, right? You
I know
right?
that.
Okay.
100 years from now, do you think people are going to talk about Gary Oldman?
Oh no, that's the one thing I hate
That's my
watching like an
point.
older movie. I just think dead, 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 dead. That dog's been dead for even longer. Dead, dead, dead.
Yeah.
Like I get really sad.
And it makes me sad too because it's like, will people remember you?
Yeah.
I cried at that movie Coco, which I think a lot of people did. You ever see Coco? It's a Pixar movie.
No, I don't watch cartoons.
Have you watched Coco,
Sad
James?
as shit.
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
makes you sad. Well, because it's like
What's with that?
they had a great, like in Mexican culture, they keep your picture on a Provenza type of thing. I think
Okay.
that's what it's called, or
Yeah.
Prodenza. I'm messing up the word, I think. And it keeps your memory alive,
Okay.
you know? And that's like just a way to honor the dead. They're really cool about that. And the one kid wasn't allowed to do music because they had a great-great-grandfather that left the family to become a musician, so the whole family then hates music, and that tradition carried down, and he loves music, and so he accidentally enters the world of the dead, you know, because
Oh,
that Day of the Dead day
Yeah.
that's real popular in that culture. And he's alive, though, and they know that because they're all skulls, they're all bones and shit like that in this land,
Yeah.
and he accidentally runs into his great-grandfather that was banished, and this guy's desperately trying to figure out a way to get himself, because the one day of year they all get to cross over and go be with their family again or see them, and he's this close to not being remembered because the only person who's still alive that remembers him is his 94-year-old daughter, because it's like a great-great-grandfather, and when she dies no one on earth will remember him anymore, and he will fade even in the afterlife. He's gone from the afterlife, and so he's like, I gotta try to keep that going. And so then at the end, and she's got like Alzheimer's, she's losing her shit. The kid comes back to that world, picks up a guitar, and his whole family's like, what are you doing? Don't get, you're your mama Coco. And he starts singing the song that the dad had written for her.
Oh,
And then she
wow.
comes out of her like Alzheimer's like states and remembers.
Okay.
And then she shows a picture because they couldn't find a picture of the guy. And he was able to put the picture on there. And then it shows like the fucking guy crossing over and he gets to be back with it. It just fucking makes you bawl, you know?
Well, it's scary. Like Forgotten Legacy is very scary. I mean, like, or like the fact that you're not going to be remembered eventually, right? Is scary. Like, so I still have all my grandparents, which is surprisingly, and they're everyone but one. My grandfather.
So who do you spend Christmas with? And again,
well, literally just by myself, and used to be my cats, but now it's just by myself.
Okay, well that's gonna break my fucking heart, man. Just as quick recap.
Yeah.
For everyone listening, we might have a lot of first-time listeners. Jonah, on a past podcast, you get into more details. I'm not going to ask you to get into detail now.
Yeah, I won't get too far.
His father and mother are both dead.
Yeah, they both died within about a year and a half of each other.
Yes, and he kind of grew up rough with, they're both drug addicts and stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
And you're an only child. So, yeah, you have Christmas, you don't go anywhere?
Well, I have a small family normally, so, like, luckily, no, I have, like, I still have my grandma and grandpa on my mom's side. They're, like, in their 90s.
Where do you wake up on Christmas morning?
Usually in the street.
I'm saying, like, in your apartment?
Christmas Eve, I always spend with that family. Like, any girlfriend now, like, I'll ever have, I make sure, like, listen, like, my grandparents in their 90s, they are the most important thing in my life right now. Like, I will not spend Christmas Eve with them. And they're in Wisconsin. And then I have one uncle and aunt, and then 3 cousins from that side. That's my whole family.
You spend the day with them?
Yeah, I spend my day with them.
God.
Yeah.
I just got sad thinking you were like, looking out a window with snow lightly falling in your Chicago apartment.
Yeah. And then Christmas Day, usually I've always, my whole life, I spent Christmas Day kind of by myself. It's always been like my thing. But then I used to fly out. All my other side of my family is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I still have my grandmother, who's like 96 from that, who's better on her iPhone than I am, which is insane. And I have a few aunts and uncles from that side. But they're all kind of like, they all moved and kind of spread apart, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to say is, so I lost my grandfather on that side. And he is, which we talked about on previous podcasts, he's like the father of modern day car washing, right? That's his legacy, is he like started like Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
in Albuquerque, that
talked about this.
is the is the car wash, like the car wash in Breaking Bad is my family's car wash, right? And he passed away, and I went to, it was my first eulogy. I'm crushing eulogies now, by the way. If you die, like, let me know.
Yeah, type 10. You do a TV5 with eulogies,
man, I'm
right?
crushing eulogies. This is insane how good I am. I'll have a fucking through line and whatever. But so the point is that he comes in, and I'm like, I don't know what's gonna expect, and like, people flew from all over the world because he affected so many people's lives, because he's like, I'm in the business I am because your grandfather was such a hero to me, right? And I had no idea that he was this big. I mean, he's like in the Car Wash Hall of Fame, like inducted.
I didn't know there was a fucking Car Wash Hall of Fame.
Every fucking stupid little, like, there's probably like a hat maker's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sure.
And it's crazy, but like all those people were old, right? And then a year later, my whole family sells all the car washes, which was like my identity forever. So that's all gone now. So there's no Octopus Car Wash anymore. So like now nobody knows what that is. And like my grandfather at one time was the most respected person in the world in car washing, and now anybody that starts car washing, they don't fucking know who that is. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, how do you have a legacy that lasts forever? Which I think is why I'm in comedy, because it's like, you know, like we all are gonna remember Carlin, right?
Yeah, I think maybe in the
Not
back
saying
of my head,
you and
I
I
always
over-
wanted to gravitate towards something that I could leave my
Me
mark.
too. Yeah,
You know?
It's like
'Cause-
why else are we here, right?
Yeah, that's why I think I've liked recording these album/specials, because it's like that'll be there forever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But who knows who's gonna listen to it and fucking 100 years. I think it'll be different going forward now, because there's so much. We're way more connected now than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if YouTube was around 400 years ago, and I could watch videos of my ancestors, I would fucking watch that.
Yeah, me too.
Wouldn't you binge that shit?
Yeah, yeah.
So
my
I think
grandfather was like a bomber in World War II and got shot down in enemy lines.
Yeah, you'd
it's like
read that
behind
blog.
enemy lines. Like literally, he had to live with just his gun and making his way back into Allied area. Like that's
crazy.
my grandfather's. That's what he did.
Fuck, man, let's make that a reality show.
I know, and it's just like I have no written word. I have nothing of that, and that's so great about our generation now, is we have, and everybody's trying to record everything, and people are like, "Oh, it's bullshit," but it's like
We think it's
we
too
have
much,
something
but
our family can look back on.
I think we're gonna appreciate it later.
Yeah.
Everything gets appreciated later, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the first one to make this point. Other people have made the point where,
Yeah, except for baseball cards, they depreciate.
well, a lot of shit does depreciate in value for sure.
Yeah.
But like, think about, I know everyone's like, oh, people are on their phones too much, or then before that, people are on their computers too much.
Right.
You watch too much TV, too much. I'm sure when the radio came out, it was like too much radio.
Yeah.
I'm sure before that, it's like all you kids do is play with that wheel. Go out in the fucking,
yeah.
go out in the desert and roll
I
around.
get it. There's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my
create
God.
sparks you. I mean, it's just.
Oh, we can eat normally. So cool.
Yeah, you invented the spoon. I don't like it's just endless
Yeah.
with that shit. So
I get it. It's called a dildo. Get out there.
As much as I shit on Twitter and stuff like that, I definitely think social media, I've learned to embrace a lot of it. I think though, and I won't change my mind about this, I definitely think there is some negative parts of it, but there's negative parts to anything.
Right.
Like when TV came out, there was a shitload of, there's still a shitload of negatives to television.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's propaganda. You could lead people one way or another. There's
Yeah.
advertising that makes you think you're a loser if you don't have something and all this kind of shit. And I'm sure radio did that stuff before. And like, that's just the thing. Anything that's positive, we're human beings, which means we're flawed.
Right.
We're going to find a way to fuck it up a little bit
Of course.
and ruin it in that sense. Well, I'm glad, you fucking have someone to be with. But the legacy thing, I think will be better going forward now because, if I have a great-great-great-great-grandchild, and they're going to look up their last name and find some shit, which is cool. So that
And then
part
do you
of
think
it's
they're going to
nice.
be like, I probably would have cut that down a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking swore too much.
Yeah, there's a couple too many fucks in that one. But like, it's good. It's great.
It's fine, but we get it. You're a dad.
Would you,
Get over it.
be proud if you had a kid that was like,
Gay? Absolutely not. No, I'm kidding.
well, that's a given. I mean, we're on the Kilgallon's pub. I mean, we don't even need to say
joking,
that.
everybody.
Yeah.
You guys know that.
Yeah. You guys know that, right? Do you know that?
You were pausing. I know, dude. I feel like I'm that guy that I make an obvious joke and then I have to be like, you guys do know I'm kidding, right?
No, I've been there all the time. I've done that in a lot of eulogies.
You and I both have to get over it. You more so than me. Not to cut you off, but like, because I know you're getting in there a kid thing. You and I were talking about this, so I'm like, dude, you always do the whole thing where it's like, oh, I know, I look like a broy, douchey, bad guy.
Yeah.
Most people at the shows you go to look like you, so they're kind of like,
I'm
wait,
growing
a
out of it.
douchebag
Yeah,
too?
I am growing out of it for sure.
because I'm like, and also
which I kind of stopped doing that.
Oh, I understand why you used to do it because I used to lean towards I got to address it too because alt comedy was so big and all these fucking rooms were filled with these hipsters and it was just so
Well, nobody wants to see
infuriating
somebody who looks like they have it all together,
I don't get that.
right?
I think you're wrong.
Really?
I think people do. I think the average person wants to see someone who's they can hang out with.
No, I think somebody wants. Yeah, they want to be like that guy's cool, but they're fucked up too. Like, it's kind of like that's why.
There's been 8 people to sell out Madison Square Garden as comedians.
so-
All 8 of them are like people who seem approachable and cool.
Yeah, but when you get when you hear them, they're not. right? They're kind of fucked up people,
I
right?
mean,
and
well,
that's
we're
the
all
thing
fucked
with
up
somebody
people,
that
but
was
you
on
said
Dale's
look fucked
podcast
up.
last week, which is frustrates me because it's like when you're a comedian and you're up there and you're trying to act like you're the coolest person on the block, nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear about being like, yo, I'm the coolest person here. But like what's better
you
is
can
like,
make it funny,
you
they
think
do.
I have it together, but guess what, motherfucker? I don't, right? And that's like, oh, I don't either. Like, you know, like that's kind of like,
Yeah.
so like comedians that like try to like have fake bravado on stage is frustrating. But like it's kind of nice to like be able, the fact that like,
Well, anything fake is frustrating,
the
right?
issue that like comedians are like, you should not be self-deprecating up there. It's bullshit. No, it's like I can make fun of
Who
myself.
said that? What's her name? Hannah Montana?
Yeah, Hannah Montana said
No,
that.
Hannah Gadsby?
Yeah,
Is that her name?
She said that?
I think her
She
special
said
was
it
about that. I believe.
self-deprecation, how she
Yeah.
couldn't do anymore because it felt like.
And I get that when you, it's hard
Well,
when
that's
you're
her
obviously when
opinion,
you're a
whatever,
woman, 'cause,
you know?
like you're already being told how gross.
Oh, well, all right. Well,
So I
didn't
get
watch
that
it.
as
I
a
can't say
female
shit.
perspective, but as a male perspective, it's like you should be like.
As long as it's fucking funny.
Well, it
and
makes you
there's
like yeah.
then you're genuine. That's what I
Yeah.
think it is. I mean, there are some comics who it's all silly made up shit and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
You know, there's other comics who believe like, oh, everyone should be like Bill Hicks. I'm like, no, they should not be. Because if every comedian was the same, it'd be really bullshit.
So boring.
That's what I love about stand up. And if a show's booked correctly, you have variety. There's variety in it. There's different, takes on things, and it's different kinds of humor. Way better than like improv or sketch because it's one person at the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Each,
Have you seen good improv before?
Yes,
a real
I have.
thing?
I have.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
It's
rare.
Here's the thing: this is what I'll tell you right now, and
No,
then
I'm
James,
just
you should
thinking
listen to this. Like,
Okay.
stand up is consistently better always. The worst improv I've ever seen is literally unbearable. But like when you are watching good stand up compared to good improv, you'll laugh harder at a good like I've never laughed I've laughed so hard that the back of my head is hurt at good improv. It's very far and few between. It's so goddamn good. And people that shit at improv I have a big issue with is because they either haven't seen it or they're just afraid to do it.
Or it's easy, or they've heard other people
It's
shit
not.
on it.
It's the hardest thing in the world. I'm doing
it's
improv
easy
on
to
Sunday,
shit on. It's
and I
easy to
haven't
shit
done it
on.
in 8 years, and I'm freaking the fuck out about it.
Again, let me correct you. I didn't say it was easy to do. I said it's easy to shit on.
Oh, easy shit on you.
Yeah, I mean, people hear like a thing,
Yeah.
and they go, "Oh, that's something to shit on."
Yeah.
and so they join in, whether they really truly hate it or not.
But also, the majority of the people that are involved in that are pieces of shit, and I hate them so much. So
Well, there
that's
you go. But like,
yeah,
like everyone,
because they're
like,
theater types.
like
Ugh.
let me make this clear: I do not like the band Nickelback, but they do not deserve the hate that
hard
they've gotten.
disagree. Hard. I'm kidding.
Yeah, they don't. But like, I mean, people are like the worst band ever. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, there are way worse bands. There are. They're way worse bands.
And there's a couple Nickelback songs where you're like, okay, that's
The
a toe
WWE
tapper.
song "Forever" was a Nickelback song.
Oh, really?
And I didn't realize it was a Nickelback
Yeah,
song.
yeah, yeah.
And I thought it was an alright song. I'm like,
like
this song's pretty decent.
Shit
Who
on
is
Dane
this?
Cook.
And someone's
Dane
like,
Cook has some really good bits.
yes,
like,
that Kool-Aid Man joke is fucking
It's
hilarious.
great. Yeah.
But again, the whole idea that like people want to see someone fucked up. They might want to hear some fucked up takes.
Yeah.
But I really think that notion. I think there was a big blip. They're not a blip, but like there was a big stretch of like maybe 6 to 7 years where this alt comedy was super popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like these are guys who read comic books and do stand up, and they're not they're beta male type dudes, and they're like fuck jocks and all that kind of shit. And the whole beta male alpha male thing is such a weird concept to me. I never put any thought into it until like the last year or so when it's been thrown around. Because it's like they're just dudes. That dude likes that. That dude likes that. I don't fucking care.
Right.
I don't understand the class. I'm friends with both. I don't get like everyone just wants to put everyone in a box, which is hilarious to me. Because the people who are putting everyone in boxes are supposed to be the people who don't want boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We shouldn't have to check off anything on a form. There shouldn't be male, female.
Right.
There should be 47 things you could check off. Or there shouldn't be Hispanic, African American. It should be, it shouldn't matter. And yet they're the ones that are always like, you're cis, you're fucking a boomer, you're a fucking this, you're a fucking. Everyone's got to have their own little boxes.
You know what's crazy about that is that my take on that, and I'm going to add to what you're saying.
And I've never heard you get political, by the way. Are you about to get political or not?
No, I'm not going to get political,
It's
but
more
this is societal. Like, I think the issue is that like the people that what you're saying are putting everyone in boxes. Those are the people that were put in a very low status box during their developmental years, and now they're in a position to then put these people who they once thought were above them in some way, or like maybe felt like they were being shit on because of. Now it's their chance to like get their revenge.
Yes.
And it all stems from feeling like you're not being heard, or like you were shit on when you're younger, instead of using like empathy and being like, oh, nobody should feel like that. It's like, now I have the opportunity to do that to somebody.
100% agree with you, Jonah.
And it's
and
crazy.
I tried this as a fucking bit, man, where I talked about how, again, you don't want equality, you want revenge.
Yeah.
And I say, like, that's how I would be.
Yeah.
If I were now getting to that point,
Yeah.
if I were a woman, I wouldn't be like, I don't want shit equal now. I want you fucking get a dick implant and get in the kitchen. Like,
Yeah.
I would be like that, and that would make total sense. It
Yeah.
would. Like, you look at like this shit. Like some people, dude, think about how much. If you're when did we learn about slavery in grade school? Pretty young, what, 3rd grade?
So what are you talking about?
When did we learn about slavery?
What is that?
Okay, it's cute.
Okay.
James,
pretty
when
early.
did you-
Pretty
when
early.
did- Pretty early, right? You definitely learn about slavery within like the first 3 years of grade school, right? By 4th grade for sure. 3rd grade, I think.
I've smoked all that out of my brain, but I'll say okay.
I'm
I
guessing.
remember learning it being
Definitely
10 years
in
old
elementary
and
school.
knowing about slavery.
10 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
and
yeah.
So
knowing about it.
5th grade max.
How much would it? I can't. I should have a black comic on to talk about this another time. But like,
Have you ever had a black comic on?
person? Of course,
Kidding,
fucking a lot of times.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
Name that. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. If you can get past 2 fingers, I'll be impressed. Yeah.
Clark Jones.
I know.
Mark
I know.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Eric Nicole Clark several times. Xavier Lamont. Anyway,
I love Eric. Eric is so great.
Yeah, dude.
I love
like,
all those people you mentioned, by the way.
Anyway.
No, yeah. I just would always wanted to know, and I've never asked any of my friends this, is that what was that like finding out, oh, wait, people who look like me were fucking enslaved?
Yeah.
Like my ancestors? That's
Yeah.
how we ended up over here? That's,
Yeah.
they, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's, oh man, I would be like pissed. Because I'm like, I'm 2nd and a half generation Irish.
Yeah.
My family's been here for not, since the 20s on one side or something like that, 50s. And I every now and then if I watch like a movie like Michael Collins with Liam Neeson, which is about like, the IRA in the early like teens, like late teens and almost 100 years ago now, actually.
Good pull, dude. Nice pull.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
If I watch any of those movies, I think like, fuck English people, man. You know what I
Really?
mean? Even though I've got
Yeah.
English friends and they're all great. And I think we have English listeners who are great. And my favorite bands are from England.
Yeah.
And, but still you watch that shit and you're kind of like, they were
man.
fucking with my goddamn great-great-grandparents and shit.
Yeah.
Or great-grandparents or grandparents even. And you just think, if I feel that, how much do they feel, you know?
Yeah.
And Jewish people have to be like, if you're like a little Jewish kid and you're reading about the Holocaust, that's got to
Yeah.
be like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
weird
what
how
I
you
think
put
is
your
the
own
average
shit on
white
that.
person, like the average white dude in America whose family's probably been here fucking to 150 years or so. And they're like, I'm white. I'm like 19 things because my family's been here so long. They fucked everyone and blah, 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 I don't know what goes through. They don't realize how much that must suck because they don't have a thing like that.
Right. That is so interesting you said that.
They don't even know why their families left their countries of origin. They just
Right.
think, oh, I don't know. They came over here like in 1821, I think.
That's interesting how you kind of understandably how you put that shit. Like I like this this cancel culture thing. I think I'm putting my own shit on because like I watched my mom. She was like 35 years recovered before she jumped out the wagon, right? And during that time, I watched her because she would have tracks on her arms because you're not going to lose that. And I watched her be judged all the time and then be treated like you're an addict and that's all you are, right?
Yeah.
So then when people cancel people and then they're like, well, that's all he is, or that's all they are, like that's their person. It's like, well, allow them to fuck up and grow, right?
Yes.
And I heard somebody say this in an interview, but it's like call yourself a progressive, but you don't let anybody progress. That's insane.
Yes,
Yeah.
right?
It's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't, and I watched my mom.
I think
go
it's a
through
label
that.
to make themselves feel better. Go ahead. I'm sorry. But yeah, by calling themselves a progressive, they get away with being not progressive.
But it's like you don't know. You can't be. No one's born perfect. You learn how to become the best person you can, and how do you do that without fucking up? Like there's like we all have stories in our lives where we're like, oh man, I don't feel good about that at all, right? But it's like that makes you feel bad, and that makes you not want to be like that again, right?
Absolutely.
So the thing is like you can't be like. You can't be, and that's why I love when people call other people, and all of a sudden like, well, you shouldn't be calling these two people because you're a motherfucker too. And it's just like, yeah, we all are. We're all motherfuckers in a way. I mean, especially me because I fucked my dead mom, and like it's like this crazy thing. But like, I mean, I think in some form and another, I wholeheartedly believe in this is that like my mom was just so hard. It's just like my dad was more of that. You're never gonna change. This is who you are, and he never believes in himself enough to change because everyone's like, this is who you fucking are.
I know. I think it gets really hard with people because I know that I would lose my temper even quicker, and I know I'm comparing a bad temper to some other more serious.
No, it's all in the same vein.
It is in the same vein. Where
Unlike
when I would start to get
parents,
mad,
they're
someone would be
heroin.
like, I'd start to get mad, and then I'd try to catch myself, and then someone's like, "We could flip out again." It's like, Maybe I am, fuckhead. What are you gonna like? Because it's put right there. It's
Why
so hard
shouldn't
to,
I if that's what you expect of me?
Yeah,
right?
and then
Fuck
you steer into the skid eventually, man. But it's interesting. Back to the whole they want revenge thing. I've thought about that, and I know we've talked about cancel culture a lot on this podcast, everybody. But it's something that's just still fucking there. And I know people try to be like, does it really exist? Because did that guy really get punished? Or would they lose a fucking paycheck for 1 week? Whatever. Like, it's the mentality that bothers me. Like, some of these people, yes, Harvey Weinstein should be in jail the rest of his life.
So I was late 15 minutes. I shouldn't be fired. It's like, you were late 15 minutes, motherfucker. You're like, oh, I should be fired then. That's my whole life. And it's like, yeah, these people.
Yeah. What kills me, though, is the mentality behind it, like I've been saying with this shit.
I realize my example probably wasn't.
That's why I didn't dive into it. I didn't really fucking. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, and you improv fans.
Thank you.
Fucking though, I think about the type of people who are all the first to be like, cancel him. And that is a comment people make. That's how cancel culture became a thing. That's why they chose the word cancel, because people were commenting, cancel this person.
Yeah.
Cancel, so-and-so is canceled now. That's literally what the tweets were, and that's why it became a thing. So when the people were like, cancel culture isn't real, I'm like, how did that term come about? No one just picked that out of fucking air.
Yeah.
But what kills me is the type of people who are the most likely to say cancel someone or to join in that mob mentality are the people who weren't popular growing up.
Right. They've been brushed off their whole life.
Yes. And so I
Sadly,
get it.
Which shouldn't happen.
It should not
happen to
happen.
anybody. Yeah, yeah.
I empathize with them. I sympathize with them. I forget the meanings of those words sometimes. And not sympathize. And I think that's awful. And I do think there needs to be a fight. So this whole thing that's been going around the last week, Brad Williams, who's a dude, I don't know him super well. I did a couple shows with him in at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood back when I was living in LA.
Yeah.
And was a nice dude. A kid in New Zealand or Australia, a 9-year-old dwarf.
Oh.
No, he's a 9-year-old dwarf, and he. But Brad Williams saw it because he's a dwarf too. So by the way, dwarf's the technical term. It sounds like I'm being a piece of shit, but that's really what it
sounds
is.
real magical when you say it.
Kind of like does seem like
Yeah.
And he was being bullied so much at school that like he was crying after school, and he's bullied and picked on every fucking day, and he's like, I want to kill myself. 9-year-old saying he wants to kill himself, which is so fucking like as a parent especially, that shit breaks my heart even more.
Of course,
that stuff, you know. And it should break your heart regardless, of course. And anyway, Brad Pitt, I'm saying Gary, Brad Pitt. Now I'm saying I'm looking at movies too much.
Yeah.
Brad Williams started like a GoFundMe because he's like, I'm going to show him that there is good in the world. I'm going to fly him from Australia to Disney and take him out for a day and let him know,
great.
and I can relate to him because we have the same thing. And dude, it raised over like $150,000.
Wow.
It was 10,000 was the goal. It went up to like 150,000. I think it was almost 200,000. It's only 150,000 was the first like 24 hours, and it's been growing in all these other publications. And Hugh Jackman was like, everyone's like all this stuff. And then of course there's the fucking conspiracy theory nuts on the fucking Instagram and stuff like that. I know James is part of that. Someone was saying like, oh, he's actually like 18. And then another person was like, okay, well, this is his mom's Facebook, and this is timestamped to 2011 of her holding a baby that looks like a fucking dwarf. I didn't mean to say fucking dwarf. That F word is more towards the people.
Right.
That F word, I know when you say the F word in the wrong part of the sentence, it does make you come off as a dick, that great Bill Burr joke. But that was more towards the people, because there's always someone who has to find the negative.
Right, yeah.
They hear this story, they go,
I don't believe it.
I got
there.
Yeah, because, and also
can't
there
you
are
just,
people
like,
out there
just
who
accept
think
things?
bullying's a good thing. They go, no, bullying's a good thing because I got bullied and you overcome it and all that shit.
But the people that got bullied are bullying the most right now because they're trying to cancel everybody for their mistakes that they made.
No, I'm talking about more like the meathead type of dude.
I hear you. Okay.
Who I look, and I'm a meathead too in a lot of ways. So
yeah, you're
not,
fucking piece of shit.
Right? Damn it. Yeah. But no, there's a difference between and I got into this with my one buddy because he was just like, giving shit like, oh, fucking bring back bullying. I'm like, dude, what you're describing though, because he later explained more. I go, well, that's busting balls of people you're already friends with.
Yeah.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
Me giving you shit, like, when Jonah and I produced a show together for a while.
Yeah.
Still do, but I'm more of a producer name only, and I admit that. I had to step back because I'm a parent, everyone. But when
performer name.
What's that?
You're more of a performer name.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I'd see you every week and you would run the music, I'd give you shit about the music selection.
Yeah.
We're clearly friends, though.
Right.
And a lot of it was busting chops.
Right.
Obviously, I did want a few songs in there, but it was a lot of busting chops.
Yeah.
That's different than.
He's like,
if
people want to hear
someone I
Nirvana.
don't know.
I was like, what? They want to hear Nirvana. Nobody wants to hear Nirvana.
Yes, they do. If it was someone I didn't know, some like open mic comic, and I just started teasing them all the time, and this isn't a person I would ever hang out with socially, then yes, I'm bullying and I'm being a piece of shit. And those people, yes, don't do that.
Right.
You're going out of your way to make someone's life miserable. And if you're a parent out there, honestly, if my kids fucking bully someone, I can't tell you how fucking much in trouble they would be. and how fucking much of a failure I'd feel like as a parent
Yeah.
if I find out my kids are bullying other kids.
Right.
I don't know how. It would make me sick if I was a parent of one of those kids, and I'm like, hey, fucking Tommy, are you fucking bullying this poor kid? Are you making him feel like he wants to kill him? What the fuck is wrong with you? I didn't fucking raise you to be that guy. Maybe I shouldn't be swearing at the kid. Maybe that's
probably because you bully your kid.
But bullying him. But like, I would definitely be heartbroken to some sort of point where I'm like, I clearly failed you as a father, and we need to
that's making you a failure. But it's like one of those things where like, okay, so your kid is doing that to somebody else, right? So then it's like, okay, let's figure out why.
Yes, good point.
Right? Maybe I missed, as a parent, maybe I misstepped somewhere and I didn't know that I was treating this. Maybe he's dealing with his insecurities. He's taking it on somebody else, whatever it is. But it's like you talk to them.
Yeah.
Right? You don't scream at them. You talk to them. Right? The big, like any relationship I've ever had where like someone's been some way or this way or whatever, it's just the most important thing for me is like, why are you being like that?
Yeah.
Right? Because if I understand why you're being like that, I can be more sympathetic to it if it's at me or however, and then I can work with you with it, and I know how to attack it a little better, right?
For sure.
And that's one of those things too. Like I know, through these last 3 years, it's been hard for me, and there's been times where I've acted out, and I've sat back and I've been like, okay, that's not like me. What's going on? Oh, okay. Like these are shit that's happening, right? Like the few times I've acted out at CYSK, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that has been more personal that I've just kind of projected.
It isn't always. Whenever I lash out at people, it's usually like, hey, I've got a million things going on, and this just happens to be the thing that pushes me over the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to, I kind of want to change gears because we're getting a little fucking sad right now.
You know what's not sad? DVDs.
Yeah, man. The fucking my throat's killing me right now too. So we're gonna wrap this up in a little bit. The whole thing with the whole bullying thing too. And you're right. When I meet people who are like, I was bullied. Yeah, I know. I was bullied when I was really little.
I was bullied so much in high school, I stopped going and I got kicked out of my high school.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah,
man.
and I went to alternative school. Guess what? Guess what happens by senior year? All the bullies kind of disappear because they all go to alternative school. So I had to go to alternative school with all of my bullies, who I ended up becoming good friends with, right?
Yeah.
Because I walked in and I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit right now. And
they just reunited you with fucking these people?
Well, it's not their fault. It was just like, because they were like, you have the worst attendance record we've ever seen. And I'm like, I just don't, I would like call in, I wouldn't call in, I would not go to high school to go work at my job.
Yeah.
Because I had, all my friends were there at my job. I was making money and I felt like I was accomplishing something. At school, I was getting bullied for my first 3 years. Nonstop, every day. Like every single day. And I remember that switch from not being bullied to being bullied.
Dude, I hear stuff like this and it makes me just want to shield my kids from this world.
But it made
I know
me
that's
stronger.
not the right approach. Yeah,
it made me stronger. It makes me stronger.
Kind of
stuff, because it's like it's just.
Well, it made you stronger, but think about all the people it didn't make stronger.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like there's,
but
not,
if you
we're
can't,
all the same.
If you can't go through your adolescence without adversity, you're not going to be a good person. Your life's going to fall apart.
No, don't use the word good person because
your
there's a lot
life's
of good. Yeah, but there's a lot of good people.
Okay, not a good
who
person, but you're
things.
not going to be a functional adult.
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to make it, you could say, or life's
Right.
not going to be good to you. But I wouldn't say good person. I mean, I know you probably didn't mean it that way.
Good person. I meant you're not going to be a functional adult. Like you're not.
Some of the best people you meet will be really sensitive, right?
Yeah, they're not.
I've always heard stories of people.
Okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying. This guy's not listening to what I'm saying at all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you misspoke so incredibly terribly that I feel like I have to.
I did. I should get canceled for misspoken. That's my point, right? Like,
but James was all about it too. I think James pointing at you like, "Fuck yeah, man."
No, I think he's being like, "Yes, dude, yes, yes, motherfucker." He goes, "Yes, bitch, yes."
Yeah, but I think you guys are both missing the point that like, if you can't overcome shit, like there are a lot of people. Okay, which just cracks me up because James is such a big progressive. Fucking work harder. Get your goddamn health insurance. You know what I mean? Don't fucking raise taxes. Work harder.
You're right.
Well, then why aren't you a Republican? Go fucking be a libertarian.
I'm more complicated than just.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's the same fucking, like, not everyone can lift themselves up by their bootstraps, and not everyone can overcome fucking bullying.
What I'm trying to say is, yeah, I agree with a lot of the things you're saying. Obviously, your parent,
I overcame it, obviously, and I became a guy that no one wanted to fuck with.
Most people
No, that
do.
was kind of like a thing.
Right.
That's why we're all
most people
here.
do, but, it fucking breaks my heart that
the
people
problem
can't.
is you're part of the problem. You're the one that wants your kid to have a participation award. And I
don't even want my kid to like sports.
Really?
Yeah, dude, they're fucking. I have to drive them to practice
Yeah,
and shit.
okay,
That's a
yeah.
motherfucker, man.
No, I totally
No,
agree.
because they ruin sports. It used to be the kids wherever you fucking lived. Hey, that's the park a few blocks away.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
park has leagues. That's where you go.
Yeah.
Now everything's this travel shit.
Really?
Everything's
Yeah.
travel. They made it this fucking racket of an industry where it's like, you and your kid have a chance of playing in high school or college. They better join these 9 fucking travel leagues, and then
Yeah.
they specialize you. No
Yeah.
one plays 3 or 4 sports anymore. You got to focus on the one.
Yeah.
And the endless amount of driving I hear from people, and then they do it because it's their kids and they love them, but it's like a fucked up thing. And
Yeah.
they ruin that shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, drink as much as you want, man.
No, I agree. Dude, like where you're coming from is 100% right, because you're coming from, as a parent, obviously you don't want your parents to, you don't want your kids to be bullied, and obviously you don't want your kids to become that person because you think that they should be better than that, right? And I totally see that 100%. But I think like losing is important. Like understanding that like life's not always going to work out for me is important. You grow up from that. You shouldn't be bullied, but like there are going to be people out there that don't like you, that like what changed me the most in my life, I was bullied a lot, and I was really insecure, and I still am, but like insecure and like maybe an introvert, all that. What helped me the most is becoming a comedian and realizing if I want to be good at this, I have to fail
Well, yeah.
all the time. Right? And that's how we get thick skin, and that's how we're like, I don't give a shit. But I learned that through
I
adversity.
don't want to shield them from failures. I just want to shield them from like the fucking bullshit people out there
Agreed. Yeah, I do agree.
that you have
yeah.
to encounter and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of fucked up things.
But to
dude.
not
It
understand
is-
that you're going to go through life, you shouldn't go through life without something bad happening to you. That's bullshit. I'd be
No, I didn't say that. I
Dude,
mean,
think about that. Like, not to like, I never want to. I hate sympathy, and I never want to be like, oh, woe is me. But like, not a lot of people go through what I've been through, right? And there's so much more to all that in such a short period of time. But because I have the parents that I had that were always honest with me and said that we're fucked up people, like, be careful, you
Yeah.
know. So I knew not to use drugs, or I knew not to do this stuff, because my mom was like, listen, this is in your blood. I'm an addict. Your dad's an addict. Your dad has never recovered. I've recovered. One of the reasons why your dad hasn't, because he doesn't believe in himself enough to know that he's worth being sober.
Yeah.
I know that I am, right? And all that shit, I knew that, like, that's why you always be honest, even if you feel like this is fucked up, because like your kids will soak that shit in. When I was young, my mom was like, I will always do what I say, and I always will mean what I say. Like, I'll mean what I say, and I'll do what I say, right? Like, that's what I was learning on. And then also when I was 18, my mom was like, you're 18 now, you can do whatever the fuck you want. If you fuck up, you got to deal with the consequence. That was also a very good thing I learned. So I learned that like I can be a shithead if I want, but I have to understand that like I'm going to suffer.
Yeah, I think Mike. I hear you. And
Yeah.
everything you said was a great point, man.
But comedy at the
there's
most
nothing
part
wrong with it.
has made me confident with myself enough for like I know adversity, and I know like thick skin, and I know like, and also I know myself well enough because we dive so deep that I know like when my dad died and my mom died, I'm going to be fucked up for a while. I know that things are going to affect me, but I have to be as self-aware as possible, or else I'm going to do some things that are going to be really damaging to me and the people around me.
Yeah.
And I've been like, you know.
Well, bringing up death again. You ever sometimes think we only get one go round?
Yeah.
So who gives a fuck?
I disagree. I think it lasts forever.
Oh yeah, but like so you only get one life, and I hear people say this a lot. Oh, sometimes you gotta eat shit to really make it in this world. It's like, how about not? How about who gives a fuck?
Right.
Because we're making what world? The world that other people set up?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's their world. Maybe not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I look at everything around me, and I know I have a lot of times on this podcast where I'm like, things are actually better than everyone realizes, and they are. But still, sometimes I see stuff in the world, and I see all this stuff, and I go, man, it'd be nice to just live in the middle of fucking nowhere and not to deal with any of this fucking shit.
Yeah.
Right? And just have what you want. We were talking about legacy about 40 minutes ago or whatever. Sometimes I also think, who gives a fuck what your legacy is?
Right.
Sometimes I think, because going into the world of entertainment, people think, if you don't become some megastar, you were a failure or whatever.
Right.
Dude, shit changes. Sometimes I think to myself, I don't know if I want to be on the road every fucking weekend. I've got some comedian friends who are like, dude, let's plan a tour. Let's go fucking. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be out. I don't want to be gone for a month.
Right.
I had some friends who were telling me, dude, you could do like, that thing you do about this?
Right.
You could make that a one-man show, go to fucking Scotland, do the Edinburgh Fringe Fest. Dude, that sounds fun, and I'd love to go to Scotland and perform comedy. Don't want to be there for a month.
Right.
I don't want to be away from my fucking family for a month.
Well, I think
that seems awful to me. You know what I mean?
Well, what's great about that is like, what's great is that life, you have to understand, revolves around shifts, right? 10 years ago, you would have been like, Edinburgh for a month? Fuck yeah. But guess what? You got married and you have kids. Your life shifts.
Yeah.
and now that's your world. And the thing is, we yes, we have one life, but we have one life of many different worlds. We have our adolescence, we have our 20s, our 30, these relationships, this stuff, all this shit. And the thing is like you can move from one world to another very easily, but just understand that you're leaving a world for another. So you have to kind of put that shit behind you, right? Like I know my world now is like,
but you don't have to.
Well, my world now too is like I get married.
Yeah.
I don't have a final dance. I never had that conversation with the dad, right? That I know that. But that's what it is now. That's my world now. That's the world I live in. Can I fucking be all bitchy about like, oh, my poor dad, my poor mom? Like, yeah, I can be sad about that, but it's like, it is what it is, and I got to fucking deal with it now, right? I can be funny about it. I can laugh about it, but like, it's a shift. We shift. Our whole life's shift. Yeah. Always. Life's a shift.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I just think sometimes, I think about this random stuff every month or two or so.
Yeah.
Not every month or two, but, a couple times a year. Where you're just like, this isn't. By the way, James, do we have to get out of here? Is there a hard time out?
Yeah, he needs to get out.
Did he say this though?
He's been.
Did
doing
you tell
this
me?
a lot.
I know he's been doing that a lot, but did you tell me at the beginning of the podcast that there was a time to be out?
I told you there was a person coming after you guys.
Yeah. She here now?
Yes.
Okay.
You said she'd be here in 20 minutes. That was at the beginning of the podcast. I didn't know we were.
Let's not do this on the air.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
I have another podcast to get to.
Doing this off the air is fucking annoying as shit and hard to fucking deal with.
Shift, Joe. Shift.
All right. Well, fuck, man.
Well, Joe, I think ultimately I love doing this podcast and love having a conversation with you. Sorry we got real serious, but I like.
No, I was fine with that. I wanted to get into some silly fucking the DVD shit. Anyway, well, whatever now. Fucking now. Judgment Night, everybody. Anyway, Jonah, real quick, has an obsession. I've never seen a DVD Blu-ray collection like this. You go to your house and you got a really nice apartment. It's a whole fucking wall.
Yeah.
And which is, I remember even joking with you, being like, dude, when streaming came out, you must have been like, I should stop this. No, you still go hard. No, and you had like shit. You had unopened packages from like different websites from around the world. We're like, haven't even opened those yet. Haven't even like. And I'm like, have you watched? What percentage have you watched?
Lately, a lot less than I used to.
Because it's hard to keep up.
Because I just buy. Because I'm like, yeah, it's
and
crazy.
They don't appreciate. I mean, you might have some where it's like, this is a rare
some
find.
Don't. Yeah. They're kind of like baseball cards where you're like, you think they do, but they never do. Like, it's just cardboard and plastic, right? But like, I just like it because like people are like, oh, hard copy's not here to stay. Well, it is, like, because the people like me, it is. But also like, dude, like, iTunes is not gonna be around forever. It's just not.
Yeah.
Right. All this shit's not gonna be like a lot of movies that you're holding right here are not on streaming.
Well, I mean, I look at it like the way people have vinyl collections.
Yeah.
And no one looks at them like they're fucking idiots now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this.
Well, the
hey,
quality's
this is tangible.
better.
I can hold in my hand.
Well, now with 4K, like the quality's better than streaming.
It's nuts. But you got this big bag and you're just giving away for free. You got Last Boy Scout. Out of sight. I don't know if I want this one. You can take that.
That's really
one.
good. So
is it good? Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. I'm pumped to watch that again. I haven't seen that in years. Judgment Night, which is so fucking nuts because I caught this once randomly late at night. Like, you ever fall asleep and you wake up with the TV on, and I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, maybe most of us. And they're getting into this big, RV thing, and it was fucking Jeremy Piven when he was bald.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven on that nice dude. Working with a Laugh Factory.
The soundtrack started rock rap.
Oh, did it really? Holy shit. Anyway, it's a really good movie. Dennis Leary is like this. They witness a murder and then they.
One of the most realistic action movies.
It is. It's a fucking great action movie, man.
It's a good Chicago movie.
It is a great one. Anyway, you got some other good ones here.
Yeah.
Very Bad Things That Kill a Prostitute.
Yeah, for the people, I think I have 3,000 DVDs.
3,000. Good God. Man.
Blu-rays, DVDs, 4K.
Movies. 3,000 movies.
3,000 movies.
All right. Sorry, James, that we got a little catty there on air.
Because he's a good conversation.
No, I remember him before saying someone's, is coming over here to record an intro.
Usually
I figured you would leave. I figured he was going to leave this, go into the other room, and record it on some sort of Zoom.
You're right.
That was the impression I was under.
It's his fault.
Because he said, like, oh, they'll be here in like 20 minutes. So I didn't want to, anyway, that's why I feel like a dick now for not understanding, but also fucking wasn't very clear. All right.
I think that we had a very good talk.
We did a good talk. We ran the gamut.
I
just feel bad now because I didn't know, we were going long.
I want to say real quick
and I need to go to sleep anyway.
Is that like, like, I think this is my 6th time on here, and then we become friends. We ran a show together, and you moved back. We weren't really close friends before. We were acquaintances.
Yeah, acquaintances.
I really fucking love how close we've gotten, and I like talking to you. This is
fucking love talking to you.
This is one of my favorite conversations I've had with you.
You're a good man, Jonah Jurkens. You're good people. And James Webb's a good
chap. I love James too. James and I have gotten really close since last James and I have gotten really close in the last year too.
It's been really great getting the shaft and working out with you a bunch of times. The past
I fucked up my back, but it's better now.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
It is better. I did fuck up my back, which is why I don't do.
You're just scared that I'm going to lift more than you in front of you.
No, you probably will. I'm not that strong.
Okay.
You guys
I
are
don't have a
awesome.
problem with that.
Everyone's amazing. Be good to each other out there. It's a better society than I lead on. You guys are great. Check out all past episodes on iTunes. Write a review. It goes a long way there. Check out all the other podcasts on People of Comedy Network. People of Comedy Network is on Instagram. You get great information there. You guys are awesome. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Good stuff on the way. This has been Kilgallon's Pub. Cheers. And Jonah Jurkens podcast, Petals and Pricks.
If you're into The Bachelor. Yeah. Great podcast.
You're into Jonah.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
thank
Sorry
you.
about your cat. Love you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.